Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Tyrannoid here, and I am here with a Metal Gear Solid 5 video. Um, Not any particular goal for this video, to be honest. I've just wanted to talk about Metal Gear Solid 5 because I've been playing it absolutely non-stop at the moment, and I've kind of got mixed feelings about it, to be honest. Um, Now, I only just recently actually got into Metal Gear Solid. I think I started playing Metal Gear Solid 2. That was my first one. Back in 2015, maybe? End of 2015, something. I played it. I beat it. It was good. The story was really good. I love the story. But apart from that, I went to go into, because I had the HD collection, so I went to go into Metal Gear Solid 3 afterwards, and I think the long cutscenes and everything were just kind of putting me off. Even though the story was engaging, I just didn't have the time to sit down and watch such long cutscenes. So I sort of like dwindled away from Metal Gear and thought I'd never go back to it. And then I got the PS Vita. And the brilliant thing about the Vita is, unlike the PS3, you can pause the cutscenes. There's not an official way to pause it like there is in the later games, but with most games on the PS3 you could press the home button and it would pause the video. Well, not the video, sorry, the cutscenes or the gameplay or whatever was going on. But for some reason with the Metal Gear Solid collection it still played the cutscenes in the background, so there was no way of pausing it. So if I had to go do something, it was either wait for this 20 to 30 minute cutscene to finish, or leave and miss vital plot points, or skip the cutscene altogether, which is something I just don't believe in doing. I mean, for me, video game stories are just as important as the gameplay. So obviously the Vita was brilliant because when you press the home button on that, no matter what game, if you pause it, it pauses on gameplay or cutscene, and it's amazing. So I got the HD collection again for the Vita, and I smashed through Metal Gear Solid 3 on that, and that game is absolutely fantastic. It's a brilliant game. Metal Gear Solid 3 is, I don't know, everything about it's just amazing. I love the Cold War setting. The boss fights are really good as well. I just like the character. I mean, I don't know who I like better, but I like the character of Big Boss. I love the young Ocelot. I prefer the younger Ocelot to the ones in the future games, or the past games if you're looking in chronological order and whatnot. But blah de blah. Yeah, I really enjoyed that story. And then I think the next one I did after that was Peace Walker. I decided to go back to Peace Walker, and the good thing about that is the cutscenes are a lot shorter in that game. So that was easier for me to play, and you could play it in small chunks as well because it was a PSP game originally designed for on the go, so each mission's like 5 minutes long or something like that. But I actually quit Peace Walker because it got to this scene where there's this torture scene in it, like there is in Metal Gear Solid 1, only this one is fucking ridiculous. I mean, I was spamming down my X button on my PS3 controller, and I was spamming it, and I was spamming it, and I was spamming it, and I was failing time and time again, and I just thought, I could get past it, maybe I could, but I'm going to break my controller, and I'm not going to break my controller over some PSP game. I mean, I wanted to see the story, so I have looked up the story on YouTube, watched all the cutscenes, and I got enough, because I mean, the story is the most important part of Metal Gear, so I got the story for that. And then I think after that I got Metal Gear Solid 1 on the Vita. I mean, because you can get most of the Metal Gear Solid games on the go, on the Vita, apart from 4 and 5, it's amazing. You can get half the series. So I got number 1, and I mean, number 1 was pretty damn good actually. I was worried because of it being such an old game, that the controls would suck and it would have just aged badly. It, it has aged badly a bit. I mean, the the cutscenes, the cinematography in that is amazing. I mean, I thought that all the low poly models, lack of facial expressions and stuff would really put me off, but the story was damn good with some fantastic emotional moments, and yeah, the story was great, and the gameplay wasn't actually as dated as I thought. It's kind of just like a little bit of a more dated version of Metal Gear Solid 2. Um, so yeah, I really enjoyed that, and then it was Metal Gear Solid 4, which that game is. Do you know what? I don't. It's both fantastic and pretty bad at the same time, in my opinion. Um, I mean, the gameplay is much more improved, much more accessible, but it sort of like loses itself halfway through. It starts off in the first couple of chapters as a stealth game, and it's Metal Gear Solid. It's perfect. It's your standard stealth action espionage game with much better controls, and I was loving it. And then you get to that chapter where you have to follow that guy all the way through that European town, and that bored the shit out of me. And then I found that it just started becoming more action oriented, and I was finding that like I was in more gun battles, more head-on gun battles than I was actually stealth. And I mean, that's not why I get Metal Gear Solid. That's not why a lot of people would probably want to. I mean, yeah, I didn't like that, but the story was fantastic. I loved the story, and it was so. I mean, graphically, it still looks pretty damn good, and I think that's down to the direction of the game, and just like I said again, cinematography, and it's fantastic. And I don't know whether they used mocap, but everything just looks so great, and it's just aged so well. Story was amazing, voice acting was amazing. David Hayter was at probably his best, voicing Snake. And there was a load of little like cool fan callbacks to anyone that has played all the games previous to Metal Gear Solid 4, which was fantastic. So then we come on to Ground Zeroes, which I'd actually gotten Ground Zeroes ages ago because it was a free PS Plus game about a year and a half ago. I'd always started it but never finished it because I didn't have the motivation at the time, and I thought I might as well go back and beat all the other Metal Gear Solids first. But I finally got to Ground Zeroes and I finished it all without getting caught, and it was just a little taster, wasn't it, for Metal Gear Solid 5. But now we're on Metal Gear Solid 5. This game is like the best Metal Gear Solid and also one of the worst. And what I mean by that is like, story-wise, I miss the cutscenes. I mean, the problem is, I mean, the gameplay is the best it has ever been in Metal Gear Solid. It controls so well, and there's so many options. Like, you're just given a big open world, loads of big open bases, and you're told, like, you're not told off for going in there guns blazing. You want to go in there guns blazing, you go in there guns blazing. You're not told off for it. And vice versa, if you want to stealth, that's awesome. And I love that. And you're just given a big base, and you're told, go in there, do your objective. It's how you want to do it, and that's fantastic. The problem is, there is a story here, but it's not. Like, I don't know. I'm pushing forward almost in the hopes that the story is going to get better, but it's not too great. I mean, at the moment, I can't give a full review because I've done about 81 out of 157 side missions, and I'm on chapter 23 of the story. But so far, it's almost like, obviously I know who the villain is, and we know it's Skullface, or at least that's what I know at the moment. If there's some huge plot twist or something, knowing Metal Gear, but it's just not like, there's not a clear direction of where it's going, and like, we've hardly seen Skullface. He just occasionally pops up in a cutscene and says a couple of things, and then you have to run out of there or something. There's not been any proper boss battles or anything like that. And the boss battles I always thought were pretty neat in Metal Gear Solid. Sometimes a little frustrating, but most of the time they were pretty damn awesome. Which again is something I'm disappointed about. But then I think my biggest gripe with all of this, because I can kind of do with the story being standard and everything, and like I said, the gameplay is awesome, but the biggest problem I find is that it gets repetitive, because I'm sort of a completionist. If I see a side mission, I have to do it. And it kind of kills me sometimes that I have to do that. And when I saw Metal Gear Solid and saw that it had 157 side missions, I thought, what have I fucking let myself in for? But I mean, I'm going to do it. But I was just looking at the side missions list today, because obviously I've done 82, I think it is, 82 missions I said. And a lot of them are all the same variations of a particular mission type. There's a blueprint one, I've got about 5 of them, fetch your blueprints. There's prisoner extraction. They're not the worst ones. There's the wandering mother base soldier missions. They are annoying as hell. You just keep getting smoke grenaded by your freaking soldier while you're trying to capture him. I'll just go up there and CQC him. There's the armoured units, the guys with the big lots of armour. They get annoying. There's to take out the tank unit and everything. Extract the highly skilled soldier. And then there's the mine clearing, where you just got to clear the mines. And it's like those 6 missions. There's a few special side missions, but those 6 mission variations seem to make up the bulk of the 157 missions. And it just gets really repetitive and boring. And I think that's the problem. I mean, I'm not putting all the blame on Konami, because I mean, they could have done a bit more to add variety to the game and everything. I know that Konami weren't being fantastic with Kojima and his company. I know they were most likely making life difficult for them, really. But at the same time, I think they've gone for the quantity over quality with the mission types. I mean, if they just stopped and looked at this selection of missions, they looked at their 157 side missions and thought, well, we've got about 20 prisoner extractions, about 15 clearing the mine missions. Surely they should have thought, well, just take a few of them out. We don't need a 100-hour game where most of the missions are the same. I'd rather have a 15-hour game, or, well, in Metal Gear's case, it probably more 30 hours, but I'd rather have a 30-hour game where there were less missions, but it didn't get boring, it didn't get annoying. And that's the case we've got here, and that's just really disappointing. I mean, overall, Metal Gear Solid 5 is still a fun game, and I'm still having a lot of fun with it. And it was definitely worth the money, especially since I paid £9, I think, for it. So yeah, I definitely got my money's worth. But with those repetitive missions, and then you've got the whole mother base FOB stuff that I just don't really want to do. I want to be out there being a stealth master in the middle of an open world. So yeah, I mean that's it, guys. That's my opinion and thoughts on Metal Gear. I do think that, I mean, obviously I don't know what the end of the game's going to be like yet, and I'd really appreciate if anyone didn't spoil it in the comments for me. But I'm told it can be a little disappointing. It wasn't a great end to the series, but I am hoping this is an end to the series. Playing this game, I still get the vibe that the last thing we really needed to see, I mean, we didn't really need to see it, but the last thing we could have seen was what made Big Boss the villain or the antagonist of the series. And I feel like this game wraps that up, however shoddily. And we don't really need another Metal Gear. I know we're getting one, I know we're getting Metal Gear Survive, but I think this is it for me with the Metal Gear series. I think this will be my last game. and it's been a fantastic series. And sorry about that, guys. It cut off the audio then. But yeah, it's been a fantastic series, and I'm glad I actually got into it. But it's just a shame that it didn't end on a bang with Metal Gear Solid 4, and it just kind of ended on a whimper. But yeah, that's that, guys. You can expect some more Metal Gear Solid 5 videos. Like I said, I am not done with the game yet. I've still got another 50% of the side missions left, and I've still got at least another 15 main missions left, I think it is. So I'm far from done with the game, so you can still expect more content for this game. But yeah, that's everything, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little calm, chill thoughts on the game session, and I'll see you next time, hopefully, with a proper review of this game when I've beaten it, somewhere down the line. And that is just a side note, guys. I do plan on getting back to the reviews soon. It's just been a busy few months, and I've just wanted to sort of play the games that I've got, because I had quite a lot. So I will get back to reviews properly. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.
En je moet zeggen het op bijna tot. De goeie beek hier ben,